Have you ever felt that lump in your throat after being disrespected by someone? That mix of anger, frustration, and silence. As if your voice had been suffocated from the inside? People who ignore you, belittle you, treat you as if you're worth nothing. And the worst part, sometimes they're people close to you, family, co-workers, or even someone you once loved. But today, you're going to learn how to turn the tables. Not with shouting, not with revenge, but with something much more powerful. Stoic philosophy, an ancient art that taught emperors how to remain calm in the midst of chaos, and that today can help you reclaim your peace, your strength, and your dignity. In this video, you'll discover 10 ways to deal with people who don't respect you, without lowering yourself, without losing control, and without holding on to resentment. And when it's over, you won't be the same anymore. You'll understand that no one disrespects you without consequence when you truly learn to respect yourself. Get ready, because now you're about to awaken your strongest, calmest, and most unshakable version. Let's begin. Number 1. Don't expect respect from those who don't respect themselves. The first Stoic lesson is clear. Don't expect from others what they don't have to give. Marcus Aurelius said that the ignorant act according to their ignorance. And for that reason, we shouldn't be surprised by the lack of respect in others. Many times, those who disrespect others are at war with themselves. They are so disconnected from their own essence, so drowned in their own chaos, that they project onto others the anger they feel toward themselves. And if you expect someone like that to treat you with consideration, you're giving them a power they never deserved. Respect starts with you, not as a demand, but as a silent boundary. When you respect yourself, you don't need to scream to be heard. Your posture speaks for you. Stoicism teaches that our dignity lies in how we respond, not in what the world throws at us. You can't control others, but you can decide who you allow to stay in your life. And sometimes, the most powerful response to disrespect is silence and distance. Not as punishment, but as liberation. Number 2. Never lower yourself just to be understood. It's tempting to prove a point, to clap back, to answer with the same energy, to put someone in their place. But the Stoics warn us, when you react at the same level, you become the very thing you oppose. Epictetus once said, "What hurts you is not the insult itself, but the judgment you place upon it." In other words, the real issue isn't what they said, but how much power you gave it. People who don't respect you don't need your validation, they need your indifference. Lowering yourself to earn respect is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. You destroy yourself in the process. If you feel like you need to yell to be heard, maybe you're speaking to the wrong person. True respect is silent, firm, and non-negotiable. It shows in how you behave when no one is watching. Remember, it's not your job to educate every person who acts with disrespect. Sometimes, the greatest lesson you can give is showing that you no longer tolerate certain behaviors. And once you gain that clarity, you'll never again beg for consideration. Number 3. Practice detachment from others' opinions. Many people aren't hurt by what was said, but by the weight they gave to the opinion of someone irrelevant. The Stoics trained their minds to be free from the need for approval. To them, others' opinions were just noise, not truth. If someone disrespects you, that action reveals who they are, not who you are. A Stoic mind doesn't bend to insults. It observes, reflects, and keeps walking forward. The key is this: you don't need to fix the external world. You only need to master your internal one. If you know your worth, if you're grounded in your values, no shallow judgment can shake you. Think about how much energy is wasted trying to explain yourself to those who don't listen. Real power is when you can face an unfair criticism and say, "This doesn't belong to me." Freeing yourself from the need to be understood is an act of inner strength. And those who live this way become untouchable to the petty provocations of the world. Number 4. Let disrespect reflect them, not you. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself to strengthen his character. He constantly reminded himself that the world is full of impulsive, ungrateful, and cruel people, but that should never change who he was. That's pure Stoicism. Not letting others' filth contaminate your soul. When someone disrespects you, you're faced with a choice. You can take it personally, or recognize that their behavior is a mirror of their own inner chaos. You are not what others say you are. You are what you choose to be, even under pressure. Disrespect reveals who they are. Your reaction reveals who you are. Use this contrast as a moment of self-discovery. Observe how you feel, how your body reacts, where your triggers lie. Not to hold grudges, but to reinforce your peace. The Stoics saw every insult as a chance to train. A moment to practice self-control, patience, and wisdom. Turn the attack into a lesson. And when you respond this way, the other person loses their power to harm you. Number 5. Set firm boundaries without aggression. Saying no is a powerful act of self-respect. The Stoics taught that virtue lies in acting with reason, not with reactivity. This is especially true in relationships where disrespect is constant. Being Stoic doesn't mean being passive. It means being assertive, speaking with clarity, with calm, but with unshakable firmness. When someone crosses your line, you don't have to explode, you just have to stand your ground. They may not like it, but they'll learn to respect you. And if they don't, they'll leave. That too is a win. Respect is a natural filter. Those who value you stay, those who don't, leave. But that only works when you make your boundaries clear. Do it without guilt, without over-explaining, without trying to please. Those who try to please everyone end up losing themselves. The Stoics remind us, your character is your shield. And when you live according to reason and virtue, you command respect, not by shouting, but by how you carry yourself in the face of conflict. Number 6, avoid unnecessary confrontations. Not every attack deserves a response. Silence is one of the greatest Stoic weapons. Seneca said that the wise choose their battles carefully, because they know the emotional cost of each confrontation is high. When someone disrespects you, the first impulse is to respond, to retaliate, to expose. But is it really worth it? How many times have you engaged in arguments that only drained your energy? Stoicism teaches, not every attack deserves a response. Sometimes, true mastery is turning your back and walking away. Not out of cowardice, but out of wisdom. You're not here to prove anything to anyone. Once you understand that, you become free. The provocateur is seeking your reaction, and when you don't give it, they lose their power. There is strength in remaining unshaken. There is nobility in not striking back. Every time you choose peace over war, you strengthen your soul. And remember, those who live in peace with themselves don't need to win arguments to feel victorious. The greatest victory is keeping your peace intact, even in the middle of chaos. Number 7, walk away without drama. True respect is selective. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoicism is this: you have the right to walk away from people who harm you. And that doesn't need to be dramatic or filled with explanations. Sometimes silent distance is enough. Marcus Aurelius said, "If something takes you away from reason, walk away from it." This applies to people, environments, and even thoughts. The respect you demand begins with your decision to not stay where you are mistreated. You are not stuck. You are not obligated to endure. Stoicism teaches that it's better to be alone with dignity than surrounded by toxicity and suffocating inside. This is not about revenge, but self-care. Not about pride, but about honor. Sometimes, the greatest act of self-love is closing doors that keep hurting you. And when you do it with calm, without hate, you become free. True respect comes from those who understand their own worth. And people who live by that principle attract healthier, more authentic, and reciprocal relationships. Remember, the way you treat yourself determines how the world will treat you. Number 8, master your emotions before they master your actions. One of the biggest traps when facing disrespect is reacting impulsively, yelling, confronting, losing your cool. But the Stoics taught that those who are slaves to their emotions are easily manipulated by others. When someone provokes you or treats you with contempt, their goal is often to throw you off balance. And when you explode, you hand them the victory. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens that matters, but how you react to it. You can choose to pause, breathe, reflect before you act. That is mastery. That is freedom." People who disrespect you often expect you to lose control. And when you remain calm, you completely frustrate their intent. Self-control is a pillar of Stoicism, not as emotional suppression, but as wisdom that recognizes the power of acting with awareness. When you master your emotions, you stop being a puppet of the world and become the author of your own story. And nothing scares those who try to belittle you more than realizing you are unshakable. Number 9, treat others with dignity, even those who don't treat you well, for your sake, not theirs. This may be one of the most difficult Stoic teachings. Treating with respect those who don't respect us? Yes, but with a crucial detail: not for them, for you. A Stoic doesn't repay evil with evil, because doing so only distances them from their own virtue. To treat with dignity doesn't mean allowing abuse. It means keeping your elegance even when cutting ties. It means being able to say enough without losing your composure. It means understanding that your posture says more about who you are than what the other person did. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is to be unlike the person who wronged you. And being different means not carrying the same poison. You don't need to become what you're fighting against. Treat even those who failed you with respect, and then walk away with class, with firmness, with peace. Dignity is your shield, and when you act with honor, even in the hardest moments, you become stronger. A noble soul does not become contaminated. And in the end, that is your greatest superiority. To live without hate, without bitterness, without the need to diminish anyone to feel whole. Number 10, value yourself so much that disrespect becomes irrelevant. When you truly value yourself, other people's disrespect becomes too small to touch you. The Stoics remind us that self-esteem is born from coherence between what you believe and what you practice. When you live in alignment with your values, you build an inner fortress. And in that fortress, disrespect cannot enter. Not because it doesn't exist, but because it has no space inside you. Respect begins in the way you treat yourself. When you honor your boundaries, choose healthy environments, and silence what poisons you, you send a clear message to the world. Here, respect is non-negotiable. People who don't respect you stop making sense when you grow. They no longer fit your level of awareness. Not because you feel superior, but because you finally learn to love yourself. And those who love themselves don't accept crumbs. They don't bow to rudeness. Value yourself so deeply that disrespect becomes just a distant echo. And then you won't even need to defend yourself. Your presence will be the defense. Your light will naturally repel what doesn't match your frequency.